Now, is anybody here who wasn't here yesterday? Hands up, please. Oh, okay, that means just for you five I have to do my spiel all over again. Now, no flash photography apart from in the first 5 minutes of a panel. When a guest comes on, flash away for the first 5 minutes and then please quieten it down. No mobile phones on either in here or on the autograph panels. I gather it's not just because they ring and disturb people, it's because the techie guys get interference and all sorts of problems from them. So, you know, everything may blow up and we may be caught in a huge conflagration because of your mobiles. Anybody see Casualty last night? Yeah. We kicked ass. It's going to be such a cool show. Okay, now then. The other things, at 11 o'clock this morning, Paul Darrow will be doing an extra signing and a meet and greet at the Blake 7 fan table up there in the fan room. And I've also been told to once more plug both the fan room and the dealer's room up at the top of the building. They're very easily signposted, they're very easy to get to. Please go and visit, especially the fanzine room. Let me see, is there anything else I need to say? Badges, da-da-da. I'm sure I'll think of it later. Without further ado, let's move on to our first guest. We've had a bit of a change in the running order this morning. So our first guest this morning is somebody who, well, these days I think she's best known as Mummy, Little Adam's mum. It's Sophie Aldrin.
Yes, I grew up in South East London, not far from where we live now actually. I was born in the borough of Greenwich and grew up in Blackheath, and that's where I sort of am now. Very important.
So, as a child, was being on TV the first thing you wanted to do, or was there other kind of ambitions and things?
No, we didn't have a TV at first when I was little. Well, no, it wasn't really. No, it's funny, I'm not really a very big fan of TV. It sounds awful, isn't it? But I get really annoyed when I've watched too much TV. I can always tell because I get sort of irritated. And there's a very high-pitched sound that I don't think everyone can hear, but I can always hear that high-pitched noise, and it goes through my head. So I don't watch much TV now. And I remember when I was little, I wasn't that keen still on watching TV, although my brother watches it non-stop, so it wasn't anything to do with our upbringing. I think I was actually so keen on getting out and bossing the local kids around to do plays and playing outside and sort of, I don't know, playing games really. That I enjoyed that. Well, apparently, yes, I was quite naughty. Although, funny enough, I'd forgotten this, but I used to be really shy. There was a programme on a while ago, which I didn't see any of, but my mum was telling me about it. It was a sort of child psychologist programme. Was it called Child of Our Time or something like that? And they had lots of research that has been going on with children. And the presenter said something like, if a child is shy at the age of 2, then they won't be a television presenter. And my mother sort of shot up in indignation and was going to write letters, because apparently I was really, really shy when I was 2. And in fact, I remember, actually, funny enough, do you know the programme Dead Ringers? Yeah. The radio programme? Right, yes, I thought you might. Well, the producer of that is a guy called Bill Dare. He used to be called something else, because we were at university together. And I'd forgotten this until I met him this summer in Edinburgh. And he reminded me, he said he couldn't believe how shy I was when I was at university. He said he could remember me not saying a word, which, for those of you who know, I've made up for it since. So yeah, I had this funny mixture of being very, very shy, and I hated going to parties and meeting new people and things. I mean, there's probably some people who identify with that, and sort of terribly nervous and, you know, just wanting to hide all the time and, you know, stand behind my mum. And I used to get very, I wanted to be with my mum all the time, you know. Not like Adam is terribly confident. I'm really pleased that he is, because I think it can be quite a kind of handicap if you do feel very shy. I think, for some reason, I think a lot of Doctor Who fans are quite shy. I don't know, would you agree with that? Are you kind of, some of you shy people? I'm getting lots of yeses and no's. So no, that's great. Yeah. So yeah, so I was this very odd mixture of being really shy and very confident when I was, you know, in front of audience or doing something I really wanted to do, or bossing people around to be in a play. So
was it sort of school plays and things like that? I'm trying to see where you went.
yeah, well, yes, it's funny. We did a lot of drama at school. I had a wonderful English teacher when I was about 7, called Miss Kemp, and she's still around. I must go and see her actually. She wrote, along with her friend, a series of books called Take Part books, and they were adaptations of things like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and what else, Hiawatha, and they were written as play scripts. And every now and then there'd be a star and you do the sound effect. And it was my first sort of introduction to seeing a play script and reading through the plays. And my class was the kind of guinea pig for all these books. And I loved it. I absolutely loved reading these plays out loud and doing all the sound effects. So I think that's where it started. And then at school we did a play once a week. We'd just put on a play. You know, one of the lessons, one of the English lessons, and I always did Just William plays, because do you know the Just William books? I think William is probably my favourite fictional character of all time. I think they're still wonderful stories. I listen to Martin Jarvis reading them on tape. I don't know if you've heard on Radio 4 or on tape. And he's great, he really brings them to life very well. But I think the writing is absolutely brilliant. It's so modern. And although Richard Crompton, the writer, she never had children of her own, but she really knew a thing or two about children and boys. So yes, all in all, I've got such a nice life. I can't tell you. I'm very lucky. Yeah.
Does Adam ever see you on telly?
He's not seen me that much. I read some alarming reports of how actually television is not really very good for children's brains, and the reason why they sit like that in front of it is because it's the actual light that you know, and the what do you call it, the frequency is actually a bit like having an epileptic fit for children. Yeah, so I'm a bit worried about this. So he doesn't. He sees a bit of football when Liverpool are playing. What, darling? Shall we show everybody what you can do? Shall we show everybody your noises that you do? What does a lion say? And what does a snake say? Yeah. And what does an elephant do? Yeah, that's right. And what about a bear? Does a bear go pee? And what about Liverpool? Clap, clap, clap. Yeah, that's right.
You've also done live TV.
I have, yes. I was doing it on Wednesday. Saturday mornings live was pretty scary because you've got somebody talking in your ear and you're having to coordinate everything, and everything's going on, and you just think, oh, how is this ever going to make sense in my brain? And somehow you're being talked to in here, you know what you've got to say, so you're talking to someone like this. And then afterwards, it's amazing watching this at all, because you know it wasn't me who was having to sort out counting into programmes and counting out of programmes. But, you know.
Is there still any naughtiness inside that makes you want to, when you're on live TV, to do something really bad?
Well, yes, I must say on Wednesday it was very tempting because one of the presenters, you know the people who do the, you're making lovely noise, you're singing to us, Bobby. See.
Main comic strip, which was the Doctor Who story, and it had these small ones at the back, which I always found more interesting ones, the ones where they took a monster and explored the concept. And that's the way I like to see TV. That's the backup strip.
I think if we do hit on I mean, as I said, people have liked the K9 one, but it's not universal. There are also a lot of people who don't buy into it. I mean, that's the advantage of kind of hitting a number of different themes and ideas. You know, somebody is going to at least, there'll be at least a few that will like it. I mean, the K9 one was significant. I mean, I really enjoyed working with Lala and John. It was good, and I think that is a team that does work. But it is a matter of finding something that you universally like, that would make it worth pursuing something ongoing. I mean, there's Soldiers of Love, which I think is, I haven't heard it, but I understand that that's a kind of ongoing. Yeah, but again, it's not necessarily, the support for it, although there is some support, is not necessarily, it's not as strong as it needs to be to justify it.
Well, yeah, I think they're targeting the audience to follow the actors rather than follow the concept. So it's got lots of younger actors in it, like Red Dwarf, Doctor Who. What do, can I have a show of hands on this actually? What do people prefer? Monsters from Doctor Who, or to have the actors from Doctor Who? So put your hand up if you prefer the monsters, or would you rather have the actors? The actors seems to... And would it matter if the actors were doing stories that were not specifically in a Doctor Who universe? Would anybody... Would it matter?
So you're such a fickle one.
I'm just doing a bit of free audience counting the...
Yeah.
That's interesting, is it? I would have thought there would be more for the monsters, but obviously not.
Yeah, but it's the actors, isn't it, who are like sort of personalities. I mean, the monsters have a sort of personality, but...
I think it's a mixture. I think it's story, actually. I think people buy into story as much as anything else. I mean, that's kind of... You want a particular type of story that entertains you.
But what's the hook that catches them in the shop?
Steve's design of the cover.
Ah,
That's a lot of people. That's what will catch people's eye. I mean, that's why we have to work at that and make people pick it up. And then hopefully, once they've picked it up, they will take it to the till. And then when they get it home, hopefully they will actually listen to it. I know a lot of people who buy it and have got everything, but haven't actually had a chance to listen.
Yeah, not that bad.
Which I think I would buy it.
Well, I've got all the Doctor Who books, but I've read less than half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been sad.
It's just the way...
Sad collector, man.
Right.
We're all the same, sure. Liar.
So where do you think we should go next, then? Apart from down the bar? That wasn't this.
I think surely we have to keep sticking at the moment with, and I know, you're still doing the audio stuff, but, because the videos are what you're offering is different to everything else that's happening at the minute. They are short.
Yeah. Yes, it is so hard to do. Yeah.
Who doesn't have any DVD product? Anybody in the room who's never bought this DVD?
The dealer's table.
No, I just wonder why they haven't tried it. You've not heard of it before?
It's good. Most of it.
A lot of people say to me, we don't buy it because there is so much Doctor Who stuff. We tend to buy stuff that's got the logo on, because that feels more like Doctor Who. It is Doctor Who, yeah.
So we've got to stick the logo on.
Let's put the logo on. That's what I say.
Exactly. Any more questions? One another, yeah.
Have you ever thought of going to music conventions and things to try and do something a little bit spin away from Doctor Who, but more on the fans, or even try to do something a bit live at a convention, try and film something or put something together.
How funny.
Funny you should say that.
Yes,
Yes, we have.
this very morning.
What was that second?
Would we do something live at a convention or something connected to fans? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it would be nice to inject something a bit different into. I wanted to do something this morning, but I couldn't galvanise my team into doing. No,
We're too hungover, Bill.
too much effort. Anyway, we'll save it for another day. But yes, is the answer to your
Yes.
question. What sort of stuff would you like to see?
I don't know, I'm just thinking it would be interesting to actually see anything being done. I just wondered if you ever thought about the whole fact that we're all here because we like Doctor Who and why, and whether you could sort of get into some of that. I know it's not necessarily maybe what everyone wants to see a lot of, but it's, you know, it's why people football fans, why people this kind of fan and this, that, the other. What is the thing behind it?
There's still plenty of material actually to. I'm amazed at the ideas that do come up, but there still is plenty of fodder there, as Annika Wills would call it.
You had the idea once of recording an audio adventure live in front of an audience, didn't you?
Yes.
That was, unfortunately, we didn't pull it off in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's quite good actually. You could do because you know.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. And you use the audience as the background sound effects and things like that, and actually get you involved in all that.
And it's not a cynical marketing ploy to make people buy it or anything.
No.
Good.
That was
Okay.
what's nice about doing Autumn too, because in the church, that was like, it's all like Doctor Who fans came,
Yeah.
weren't they?
But they were very supportive actually, weren't they? I mean, filming is such a boring process, especially if you're not directly involved. And they loyally turned up, ran in and out of that church, because it was falling down, and sat in the pews for hours on it.
Yeah, it's just a small point, really. You touched on something earlier that people maybe not have heard of BBB. Is it not wiser, with your contacts that you have, with the actors and everything else, to get something onto something like Sci-Fi UK on the digital network?
That's obviously a good avenue actually.
Just about the story of Sci-Fi UK.
Right. Thanks for the tip. There's one series that has been translated on Sci-Fi, the Probe series. And I am in touch with them. I mean, I'm never quite sure what they're looking for and whether they actually have funds to buy new material. Yes. Sure.
For there to promote yourself.
Yeah. Which employers,
Yeah.
marketing manager. Any other questions? We haven't had one from that side for ages. What time is it? Have we? Ah. Oh, yes. So, well, it is time we've wrapped up. I really enjoyed last night, actually. It was quite, I mean, I only arrived last night, I wasn't here yesterday. And I enjoyed that part. We went in the back watching the cabaret thing and waiting for Jane to come on to do her 3 fabulous songs. And I quite enjoyed that, talking about material, that fast, the chaps who've done the fast thing, I was quite impressed with most of that. I thought that was actually quite, talking about sources of material. So there is, I was quite pleased to see that there are people up here who, produce something that is a bit different, and it was very funny. So it's nice to sort of see that stuff exists, and it's a good bit of competition. Gets you thinking, actually. Well, thank you very much for listening to us. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully we'll see you here next year, if not at the next event moment like this. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Paul. And we'll see you later.
Long
Okay, our next guest, is he out there? Can an organiser come to the door and tell me if... I should tell for a little bit. Okay, the people up downstairs in the second fan room. There's a dealer's room along one side of the gallery up there, and on the other end there's a fan room in which various good causes. There's the charity anthology Walking in Eternity for sale up there, which is well worth purchasing. And there's an awful lot of fun going in that room, it's worth looking. Now, are any of the organisers down by that door back there? Oh, they've left me to hang out to dry. As the wonderful Nicolas Cage once said, I'm feeling a little bit tired, I'm feeling a little bit quiet. This girl last night was quite good. Well, I won't stand up here and film, I'll just check out and see what's going on. No, it shouldn't. In aid of Ethiopian famine appeal. And I went out for a little walk with my dog. And because I was getting various guests for this convention, my mum ran down the road after me going, Paul, Doctor Who's on the phone! This is our next guest. At that convention, at the end of it, scared little fanboy shaking my boots, I took my charity checkbook up to him and said, Sir, may I offer you expenses? And he said, you may offer them, sir, and I, sir, will refuse them. He is the best possible ambassador for our culture. He is a man who does an awful lot of charity work, a lot of which goes unheralded. Never have the words a gentleman and a scholar been better applied. Ladies and gentlemen, he's still Doctor Who. It's Colin Baker.